The signal from the stars. The void of space stretched endlessly before the viewport of the UES Vigilant, stars scattered like luminous dust against the infinite black. Captain Maya Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, the blue glow of the displays casting sharp shadows across her weathered face. 20 years in Earth's Space Force had etched lines around her eyes and silver through her once black hair, but her posture remained rigid with discipline. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," said Lieutenant Raj Patel from the communication station. His dark eyes narrowed as he adjusted his headset. "It's faint, but the pattern is definitely artificial." Chen turned, raising an eyebrow. "Source: the Epsilon Eridani system, Sector 7. About 2 weeks at standard thrust." Patel's fingers danced over his console. It's an SOS, Captain. Or at least the universal equivalent." Commander Jackson Davis, Chen's executive officer, frowned. "That's unexplored territory. We don't have any colonies out there." "Exactly," Chen said quietly. "Which means whoever's sending that signal isn't human." A hush fell over the bridge crew. Despite humanity's expansion into the stars over the past century, encounters with other intelligent species remained rare. Relations were cautious but peaceful with the 4 known spacefaring civilizations, but none had territories anywhere near Epsilon Eridani. "Let me hear it," Chen ordered. Patel nodded and tapped his console. A strange, rhythmic pulsing filled the bridge. 3 short bursts, 3 long, 3 short again. It repeated with mathematical precision. "It's been broadcasting continuously for at least 72 hours, Patel explained. "And it's degrading. Whatever's generating this signal is losing power." Chen studied the star chart that appeared on the main display. The Vigilant was on a routine patrol mission along the edge of human space. Responding would take them far beyond their assigned route. "Recommendations?" she asked, looking around at her senior staff. Davis spoke first. "Protocol suggests we report this to command and continue our patrol. This could be anything, even a trap." Dr. Eliza Warner, the ship's xenobiologist, shook her head. "We have a moral obligation to investigate. If this is a genuine distress call from an unknown species," Security Chief Nikolai Volkov interrupted, his Russian accent thickening with concern, "who may have very different ideas about first contact protocols than we do." Chen listened to the debate that followed, her eyes never leaving the pulsing light on the display that represented the mysterious signal. After several minutes, she raised a hand, silencing the discussion. "We're responding," she stated firmly. "Humanity didn't reach the stars by turning away from the unknown. Lieutenant Patel, send a message to command informing them of our decision and expected course. Navigator, plot the most efficient route to Epsilon Eridani." "Aye, Captain," came the chorus of responses. "And everyone," Chen added, her voice softening slightly, "prepare yourselves. We don't know what we're going to find out there, but whatever it is, the Vigilant will be humanity's representative. Let's make sure we get this right." As the great engines of the Vigilant powered up to their maximum output, Captain Chen retreated to her quarters. She called up the personnel files of her 247 crew members, reminding herself of the responsibility she carried. They were explorers, yes, but also representatives of Earth, and now, potentially, rescuers. The journey took 13 days at maximum sustainable thrust. As they approached the outer edge of the Epsilon Eridani system, the signal grew stronger and clearer. "Captain, I finished analyzing the signal pattern," Science Officer Min Seo Park reported on the morning of their arrival. "It's definitely a mathematical sequence that couldn't occur naturally. And there's something else. Embedded within the pattern are complex data packets." "Content?" Chen asked, leaning forward in her command chair. "We've partially decoded it," Park replied, excitement evident in her voice despite her professional demeanor. "It appears to be an information bundle. Rudimentary language primers, biological data, and astronomical coordinates focusing on the 4th planet in the system." The main view screen shifted to show a medium-sized terrestrial planet with swirling white clouds over deep blue oceans and purple-tinged continents. Life signs? Chen asked. Affirmative. Park confirmed. The planet shows clear biosignatures compatible with a developed ecosystem. And Captain? She paused, her eyes widening slightly. We're detecting artificial structures on the surface and in orbit. Many of the orbital facilities appear to be damaged. Chen exchanged glances with Davis. Tactical status. Sensors are detecting multiple vessels in orbit, Volkov reported, his voice tense. 2 distinct design configurations. One set appears dormant or disabled. The others. He looked up from his console. They're actively firing upon the surface. Battle stations. Chen ordered, her voice calm but commanding. Shields up, weapons on standby. Let's not start a fight, but be ready if one finds us. As the red alert klaxon sounded, the bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency to their combat positions. The Vigilance slipped deeper into the system, sensors at maximum sensitivity. Message coming in, Paddle suddenly announced. Visual transmission from the surface. On screen, Chen ordered, standing from her chair. The view screen flickered, then stabilized. The image showed a creature unlike anything from Earth. It had pale, iridescent skin stretched over a slender frame, with 4 articulated arms and a crested head featuring 3 large, luminous eyes arranged in a triangle. When it spoke, its mouth, a small vertical slit, barely moved, but soft, musical tones emerged. The ship's translation software struggled momentarily before producing words. To any who receive this message, I am Elder Varine of the Silesian Concord. Our colony is under attack by the Kargan Dominion. They came without warning, destroying our defenses. They take our people for purposes unknown. Please, if anyone receives this message, help us. The transmission abruptly cut off, replaced by static. Last known coordinates of that transmission, Chen demanded. Southern continent, largest settlement, Park replied. Still receiving life signs from the area, but they're faint and scattered. Mostly underground, it seems. Chen nodded once, her decision already made. Helm, take us in. Communications, prepare a standard first contact greeting package to broadcast on all frequencies. And add this, tell them help has arrived from Earth. As the Vigilant accelerated toward the embattled planet, Chen felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Humanity had never intervened in an alien conflict before. There were no protocols for this, no guidelines to follow. They were writing the rulebook as they went. Captain, Volkov's urgent voice cut through her thoughts. The attacking vessels have altered course. They're moving to intercept us. On the tactical display, 5 ships, angular and predatory in design, broke orbit from the planet and formed a blocking formation directly in the Vigilance path. Hold course, Chen ordered. Broadcast our message. Moments passed in tense silence as the distance closed between the human ship and the alien formation. No response to our transmission, Paddle reported, but they're scanning us heavily. They're charging weapons, Volkov added, his hand hovering over the tactical controls. Ken's eyes narrowed. Evasive pattern delta. Return fire only if fired upon. Let's see if we can convince them to talk before. Her words were cut short as the lead Kargan vessel fired, a brilliant beam of energy slicing through space directly toward the Vigilant. Braced for impact, Chen shouted, gripping her command chair as the human vessel banked sharply. The beam grazed the Vigilant's shields, which flared bright blue under the assault. The ship shuddered but held steady. Shields at 92%, Volkov reported calmly. Their weapons are powerful, but slower to target than ours. Return fire, Chen ordered. Disable their propulsion systems only. I want them stopped, not destroyed. The Vigilant's main cannons fired, precise bursts of energy striking the lead Kargan vessel's engine section. The alien ship listed to one side, venting atmosphere and debris. The other Kargan vessels are breaking formation, Davis observed. They seem confused by our response. They didn't expect us to fight back, Chen realized aloud, or to have the capability to damage them so easily. A second attack came, more coordinated this time. 3 Targon vessels fired simultaneously, their energy weapons converging on the Vigilant from different angles. The human ship's shields absorbed most of the assault, but alarms blared as power fluctuations rippled through the vessel. Shields at 67%, Volkov reported. Minor damage to decks 7 through 9. Chen's expression hardened. Target all 4 remaining vessels. Full offensive barrage, non-vital systems only. Let's show them what happens when you attack a ship from Earth. The Vigilant's weapon systems unleashed a devastating display of humanity's military technology. Precision-guided energy pulses struck each Kargan vessel in rapid succession, disabling weapons, sensors, and propulsion systems with surgical accuracy. Within minutes, all 5 alien ships drifted powerless, their threat neutralized. "Open a channel to the lead vessel," Chen ordered. "Let's see if they're more talkative now." The view screen flickered, revealing a dimly lit bridge. The creature that appeared was nothing like the Silesian they had seen earlier. This being was massive, with gray, armored skin and 4 glowing yellow eyes set in a broad, predatory face. When it spoke, its voice was a deep, resonant growl. "I am Warlord Krax of the Kargan Dominion," the translation came through. "You interfere in matters beyond your understanding, unknown species." Chen stood tall, her voice steady. "I am Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth Ship Vigilant. We are responding to a distress call from the Silesian colony on this planet. Your unprovoked attack on both their settlement and our vessel constitutes an act of aggression we cannot ignore." The Targan warlord's eyes narrowed. "The Silesians and all they possess are claimed by the Dominion. Depart this system immediately or face destruction." "We will do no such thing," Chen replied firmly. "We offer you one opportunity to withdraw your forces peacefully. Otherwise, we will take all necessary measures to defend the Silesian people." Warlord Krax leaned closer to the screen, studying Chen with analytical intensity. "You are confident for such fragile-looking creatures. Your ship's capabilities are impressive, but you are one vessel. The Dominion is vast. You cannot hope to prevail." Chen smiled thinly. "I suggest you don't underestimate humans, Warlord. We come from what your kind might call a death world. We've evolved to survive conditions that would break most species, and we don't abandon those who ask for our help." Without waiting for a response, Chen signaled Paddle to cut the transmission. "They're still scanning us," Park reported, "much more intensively now." "Good," Chen replied. "Let them look. Lieutenant Patel, contact the Silesian settlement. Tell Elder Varine that the UES Vigilant has temporarily neutralized the immediate threat and request permission to send a landing party to coordinate further defense measures." As the message was transmitted, Chen turned to her executive officer. "Commander Davis, prepare a landing team. I want a mix of diplomatic, scientific, and security personnel. We need to understand exactly what we've gotten ourselves into." Davis nodded, already pulling up personnel files on his tablet. "Captain, what if the Kargans call for reinforcements?" Chen's expression remained resolute. "Then we deal with that when it happens. For now, we focus on helping the Silesians and gathering intelligence. The Kargans have never encountered humanity before today. Let's make sure they learn quickly that attacking those under our protection is a very bad idea." As the Vigilant established orbit around the embattled planet, the crew prepared for humanity's first intervention in an interstellar conflict. None of them could know that their actions today would fundamentally alter the balance of power across this sector of space, or that the supposed fragility of human physiology was about to become their greatest asset. Steel and determination. The descent to the Silesian planet was rough, the shuttle buffeted by atmospheric disturbances that Captain Chen suspected were aftermath from Kargan weapons fire. Commander Davis piloted with practiced skill, compensating for the turbulence as their small craft cut through violet-tinged clouds toward the coordinates they'd received from Elder Vereen. Atmosphere analysis complete, Dr. Warner reported, studying her scanner. Nitrogen-oxygen mix similar to Earth's, but with higher concentrations of noble gases. Gravity approximately 0.8 Earth standard. Temperature at landing zone is 22 degrees Celsius. Breathable? Chen asked. Warner nodded. For humans, yes. Though I'd recommend limited initial exposure until we can test for potential allergens or pathogens. Everyone keeps helmets on until Warner gives the all-clear, Chen ordered, checking the seal on her own environmental suit. She glanced around at her landing team. Commander Davis, Dr. Warner, Security Chief Volkov, and Lieutenant Park, all prepared for humanity's first face-to-face contact with the Silesians. The shuttle settled onto a wide plaza near the center of what had once been a beautiful settlement. Now many of the flowing, crystalline structures lay in ruins, their iridescent surfaces scarred by weapons fire. Chen was the first to step onto the alien soil, her boots crunching on something that resembled glass, but shifted like sand. Movement at 2 o'clock, Volkov warned quietly, his hand resting on his sidearm. From behind a partially collapsed building, several Silesians emerged cautiously. In person, they were even more striking than in the transmission. Standing about 2 meters tall, their slender bodies seemed to shimmer with internal light that pulsed subtly beneath their pale skin. Their movements were fluid, almost choreographed, as they approached the humans. One stepped forward, taller than the others, with elaborate markings across its crested head. I am Elder Vereen. It spoke, the translated voice coming through the humans' comms with a musical quality. You are the ones who drove back the Kargan vessels. Chen stepped forward, removing her helmet now that Warner had given the subtle nod that indicated the atmosphere was safe. Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth Ship Vigilant. We received your distress call and came to help. Vereen's 3 eyes blinked in an alternating pattern that Chen guessed expressed surprise. You traveled through the void between stars to aid those you had never met. It's what humans do, Chen replied simply. We don't ignore calls for help. The Silesian elder studied them with evident fascination. You expose your bodies to our atmosphere without protection. The Kargans require breathing apparatus in our air. Humans are adaptable, Warner explained. Our homeworld has extreme variations in atmosphere, temperature, and conditions. It's made our species highly resilient. Vereen gestured toward a large structure that appeared mostly intact. Please come. We have much to discuss, and the Kargans will not remain inactive for long. Inside the building, the humans discovered a sophisticated command center where dozens of Silesians monitored displays showing the status of their remaining defenses and the position of the Kargan ships still in orbit. They came without warning 3 cycles ago, Vereen explained, manipulating a holographic display to show the initial attack. Our colony was peaceful. We are researchers and cultivators. The Kargan Dominion has never shown interest in our system before. What changed? Chen asked, studying the tactical display with a professional eye. Vereen's skin pulsed with a deep violet hue that seemed to indicate distress. We believe they came for us, for our people. The Kargans have been systematically capturing Silesians, taking them aboard their vessels. Those who resist are killed. They're abducting your people. Volkov's expression darkened. For what purpose? We are uncertain. Another Silesian joined the conversation, introducing herself as lead researcher Marine. But we believe it relates to our natural abilities. Abilities? Warner leaned forward with scientific interest. In response, Marine held out her 4 slender hands. Between them, a small object, something like a data crystal, rose into the air and floated gently. Telekinesis, Warner breathed, eyes wide. We call it the shaping, Marine explained as the crystal rotated slowly between her palms. All Silesians possess this capability to varying degrees. It is how we built our structures, cultivate our crops, and communicate across distances. Chen exchanged glances with her officers. And you believe that Kargans want to? What? Study this ability. Exploit it somehow. Perhaps, Vareen said grimly. Or perhaps they fear it. The Kargan Dominion rules through force and terror. A species with abilities they do not possess might be seen as a threat to be eliminated or controlled. Before Chen could respond, alarms blared throughout the command center. A Silesian operator called out in their native language, prompting Elder Vareen to rush to a central console. What's happening? Chen demanded, following. New Kargan vessels have entered the system, Vareen explained, voice tight with concern. Much larger than the previous attack force. They will reach orbital position in less than one rotation. Chen immediately activated her comm link to the Vigilant. Situation report. Multiple Chargan warships detected, Captain, came the response from the bridge. We count 7 vessels, 3 of them at least twice the size of the ones we encountered earlier. They're on an intercept course, ETA 4 hours. Chen's mind raced through options. The Vigilant was a powerful vessel by Earth standards, but it was still just one ship against a small fleet. Yet retreat wasn't an option, not with the Silesians facing extermination or abduction. Captain Chen, Vareen said softly, we understand if you must leave. Your single ship cannot stand against such force. Chen straightened her shoulders. Elder Vareen, there's something you should understand about humans. We don't back down from bullies, and we certainly don't abandon those we've promised to protect. The Vigilant will stay. What's your plan, Captain? Davis asked quietly. Chen surveyed the tactical display. The Kargans have numbers, but we have several advantages they don't know about. First, they've never fought humans before. They don't know our capabilities or tactics. Second, their previous encounter with us has likely made them cautious. And third, she smiled slightly, they've never faced a crew from a death world before. She turned to the Silesian leaders. I need to know everything about Kargan technology, tactics, and biology. And I need to understand the full extent of your people's abilities. If we're going to win this fight, we need to exploit every advantage. 4 hours later, Chen stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, watching as the Chargan fleet arranged itself in attack formation. The previous 5 vessels, now repaired enough for basic maneuvers, joined the newcomers, forming a threatening phalanx in high orbit. They're hailing us, Paddle reported. On screen, Chen ordered. Warlord Krax appeared, his yellow eyes gleaming with malice. Captain Chen, you remain despite my warning. A foolish decision. I could say the same about your return, Warlord, Chen replied coolly. Your forces have committed unprovoked aggression against a peaceful species and threatened a vessel of the United Earth Fleet. We demand your immediate withdrawal from this system. Krax laughed, a harsh, grating sound. You demand. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Your destruction is inevitable. Perhaps, Chen conceded with a calmness she didn't entirely feel. But I guarantee that victory will cost you dearly. She leaned forward slightly. Before you commit to this course, Warlord, there's something you should know about humans. We evolved on a planet that would kill most species in the galaxy. High gravity, extreme temperature variations, atmospheric toxins, predators, diseases. Earth forged us to survive conditions that would break your warriors. Physical strength will not save you from our weapons, Krax growled. No, Chen agreed, but adaptability, ingenuity, and determination might. Last chance, Warlord. Withdraw. Krax's only response was to cut the transmission. Battle stations, Chen ordered calmly. Execute Operation Thunderclap. Throughout the ship, crew members moved with practiced efficiency to their combat positions, but unlike standard battle procedures, this time they had a few surprises prepared. Shields at maximum, Volkov reported from tactical. Weapons charge, countermeasures ready. Deploy the drones, Chen ordered. From the Vigilance launch bays, dozens of small, unmanned craft shot into space, a technology the Chargans had never encountered before. Designed for reconnaissance, these drones had been hastily modified with the help of Silesian engineers to emit specific energy signatures that would confuse Kargan sensors. Drones deployed and active, Davis confirmed. Kargan targeting systems are attempting to lock on to multiple signals. The Kargan fleet opened fire, but many of their shots went wide, tracking the decoy signatures instead of the vigilant. Those that did find their mark were met by shields that had been reinforced with principles derived from Silesian telekinetic field manipulation. Return fire, Chen commanded. Target pattern Alpha. The vigilance weapons lashed out, striking with precision at the weak points in Kargan ship design that the Silesians had identified. One smaller vessel immediately lost power, drifting out of formation. They're adjusting, Volkov warned as the Kargan fleet shifted tactics, ignoring the drones to focus concentrated fire on the human ship. The Vigilant rocked under the assault, warning lights flashing across multiple stations. Shields down to 42%, Volkov reported tensely. We can't sustain this level of fire for long. Chen nodded grimly. Initiate Phase 2. Lieutenant Park signaled the Silesian Defense Network. On the planet below, Silesian operators activated the remaining planetary defense systems, but with a crucial difference. The targeting algorithms had been modified with human tactical programming. Instead of firing directly at the Kargan vessels, the ground-based weapons targeted specific points in space where the Kargans would be forced to maneuver when the Vigilant executed its next move. Micro-jump prep, Chen ordered. The Vigilant's engines surged as the ship performed a maneuver that would have been suicidal under normal circumstances. A controlled FTL jump of just a few thousand kilometers, placing it directly behind the Kargan formation. The instant the ship reappeared, it unleashed its full weapons complement. 3 Kargan vessels were crippled before they could turn to defend themselves. As the remaining ships frantically adjusted their position, they moved directly into the firing solution of the planetary defense grid. Direct hits on all targets, Davis announced with grim satisfaction. 5 Kargan vessels disabled, 2 remaining but heavily damaged. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Open a channel to Warlord Cracks. When the Kargan commander appeared on screen, his bridge was in chaos, with damage reports being shouted in the background and emergency lighting casting an eerie glow over his features. Impossible, Cracks snarled. No single vessel cooled. As I told you, Chen interrupted, don't underestimate humans, or those under our protection. Your fleet is defeated, Warlord. Surrender your forces and release any Silesians you've taken captive. Crax's eyes burned with hatred. The Dominion does not surrender. Then the Dominion will learn a painful lesson today, Chen replied evenly. You have 1 hour to comply before we finish what you started. As the transmission ended, Chen turned to her bridge crew. Status report. Shields at 26%, weapons at 41% capacity, Volkov reported. Engineering reports damage to decks 4 through 6, but systems are stabilizing. Chen nodded. And our guests. Davis checked his console. Transport complete. The Silesian recovery team is aboard and prepared for the boarding operation. Good, Chen said. Now we wait. The hour passed in tense silence. The Kargan vessels made no moves to either retreat or attack again. When the deadline arrived, Chen ordered a final scan of the enemy fleet. Life signs aboard the Kargan vessels are moving, Park reported with surprise. They're abandoning ship. Emergency launches detected from all remaining vessels. Escape pods? Chen asked. No, Davis replied, studying the tactical display. Assault craft. They're heading for the surface, directly toward the main Silesian settlement. Chen's expression hardened. They're going for the Silesians. It's a last-ditch effort to capture what they came for. She tapped her comm badge. Security Chief Volkov, deploy the ground teams immediately. The Kargans are making their final move. The battle on the surface was fierce but brief. Kargan warriors, genetically engineered for combat and encased in powered armor, would normally have overwhelmed the peaceful Silesians with ease, but they found themselves facing not just the slender aliens they had come to abduct, but squads of human soldiers fighting alongside them. The Kargans had evolved on a world with lower gravity than Earth's. Their large size and powerful frames were impressive, but in close combat, they discovered a terrible truth. Humans, shaped by Earth's higher gravity and millennia of warfare, moved faster, reacted quicker, and fought with a ferocity that shocked even seasoned Kargan veterans. Volkov led the defense of the Silesian Command Center, his combat experience evident as he coordinated the human Silesian forces. The Silesians, using their telekinetic abilities to divert Kargan weapons fire and create barriers, complemented the humans' physical combat prowess perfectly. When the final Kargan warrior fell, Volkov stood in the central plaza, breathing heavily but triumphant. Around him, humans and Silesians tended to the wounded of both species. "The settlement is secure," he reported to Chen via comlink. "Kargan forces neutralized. We've taken prisoners for questioning." Back on the Vigilant, the Silesian recovery team had successfully boarded the abandoned Kargan vessels and freed dozens of captured Silesians from containment chambers equipped with neural suppressors that had blocked their telekinetic abilities. "Captain," Park called out, her voice filled with urgency, "you need to see this." On her console, data streamed from the Kargan vessels, research logs, biological analyses, and experimental protocols focused on the Silesian telekinetic capability. "They weren't just capturing them," Park explained, horror evident in her voice. "They were trying to extract and replicate the ability, to transfer it to Kargan subjects." "Were they successful?" Chen asked grimly. Park shook her head. "No. The biological differences were too great, but they would have continued experimenting, taking more and more Silesians." Chen's expression was stone. "Send all of this to Dr. Warner and the Silesian medical team. Then prepare a complete report for Earth Command. They need to know exactly what kind of threat the Kargan Dominion represents." 3 days later, Chen stood with Elder Vareen in the restored Silesian Command Center. The Kargan fleet had been neutralized, their surviving crew members contained in a makeshift detention facility. A formal request for additional Earth vessels had been sent, though it would be weeks before they arrived. "The Kargan prisoners have been informative," Vareen said, skin pulsing with colors that Chen had learned indicated deep thought. "Their dominion spans 12 star systems. They have subjugated 3 other species besides attempting to capture us. And now they know about humans," Chen replied. "This won't be the end of it." "No," Vareen agreed, "but neither will they find you easy prey. Your species," the elder hesitated, "you are unlike any we have encountered before. The way you fight, the risks you take. Many of my people initially found it frightening." Chen smiled slightly. "We can be intense. It's how we survived on Earth." "This death world you speak of," Vareen mused. "Would you tell me more about it?" Chen described Earth, its varied climates from frozen poles to scorching deserts, its powerful storms and tectonic activity, the millions of species competing in complex ecosystems, the diseases and predators that had shaped human evolution. "And yet," Vareen said when she finished, "from such harsh conditions came a species capable of not just survival, but of compassion, of traveling across stars to aid strangers. Perhaps because of those conditions, not despite them," Chen suggested. "When survival isn't guaranteed, you learn to value life, to recognize that cooperation often succeeds where raw strength fails." The elder's skin glowed with a warm, golden light. "The Kargan Dominion believes that strength comes from dominance. Humans have shown us a different path, strength through alliance." Chen nodded, "which is why I'd like to formally propose an alliance between Earth and the Silesian Concord. Together, we can stand against the Dominion and any other threats this sector might face." "An alliance of the Deathworlders and the Shapers," Vareen said, using the 4 slender hands to create a glowing symbol in the air between them, 2 spirals intertwined. "Together we will be stronger than either alone." As Chen gazed out at the alien landscape where humans and Silesians worked side by side to rebuild what the Kargans had destroyed, She felt a profound sense of purpose. Humanity had answered a call from the stars and found not just a people to protect, but allies who complemented their own strengths perfectly. The galaxy was vast and often dangerous, but it had just learned an important lesson. Those who threatened the peace would now face the combined might of Silesian intellect and human determination. A formidable force indeed. When the Vigilant eventually returned to Earth space, it would carry not just tales of humanity's first interstellar conflict, but the framework for an alliance that would reshape the balance of power across this sector of space. And somewhere in the depths of Kargan territory, word would spread of the Deathworlders who had come from distant stars. Creatures who breathed toxic air, moved with impossible speed, and fought with unmatched ferocity to protect those they had never before met. The age of humanity's isolation was over. The galaxy would never be the same.